Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Astro Consciousness channel. I'm Millie, and I am here to give you your forecast for the week of February 3rd through the 9th. In this channel, we talk about the astrological energy of the week ahead and how you can integrate it into your personal and spiritual growth. So, let me just begin by thanking you all so much for being so patient with me as I was unable to post a new moon in Aquarius video last week. As some of you may have seen, I posted that I got really sick with a terrible flu that ended up being like a respiratory infection type of thing. So, as you may be able to tell, my voice is still recovering. And so thank you all so much for your patience. My intention is to never ever skip a week. Either way, let's get started with the week ahead. Monday, February 3rd, we have Mercury in Aquarius, create a trine to Jupiter stationed retrograde in Gemini at 11 degrees. So Jupiter's getting ready to go direct. It has been retrograde since October. Okay. So, Mercury, what we think, what we're planning, what we're talking about, what we're communicating about, right? Mercury in Aquarius about our future is creating a favorable connection to Jupiter in Gemini, getting ready to go direct. So, this is about the things that I'm thinking about, the ideas that I have, the things that I'm creating, the conversations that I'm having. They are for my expansion. They are for my growth. Let's look at the future. Let's talk about the future and how it can be different. And in air signs, there is an element of innovation. There's an element of newness, especially in Gemini. It's like, oh, I see things differently now. I see how there's a different way of doing this, of approaching this, right? Again, Mercury in Aquarius, I'm thinking about how I want the future to be vastly different than it's ever been before. The vastly different is important because Mercury is coming away from a conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius, which is the way that I think about my future has been transformed. The way that I see myself in my own future has been transformed. So, this is a lovely aspect all week long to have important conversations with people, to reach out to people. I think that this connection, especially when Jupiter goes direct later on in the week, can bring, like important, uh, surprising calls that come with an opportunity or ideas where you're like, oh, I really want to do that. I really want to implement that. There's an excitement about it, right? And all of this is from a different point of view that you didn't even have back in December. I really invite you to think about the elevation of consciousness that has occurred for you since December. And this week is so exciting because it has this element of the future gets to look different, but I have to choose for it to look differently. Okay. This is why the weekend of February 1st and 2nd is so important that you get very honest about how your relationships feel and if they fit in that future that you get to be very excited about. Because this is expansive. This is about opening up opportunities and doors for you. Whether this is professionally, right? This is really great energy for creatives, anyone who's a creative out there. Um, but this is also just about the way that you want to live your life. Another thing that is important about this, look, I don't doubt that with this connection between Mercury and Jupiter going direct this week, all week, we're going to see more and more bogus crap on social media, on the news, people doing really ridiculous stuff, right? Guys, you have to be mindful of where your attention is going. Because at an individual level, all of these aspects for us are supportive in terms of the life that we're building. At a collective level, they have the tendency to distract the hell out of us, and that's not fair. That's not fair for you. That's not fair for your health. That's not fair for your future. It's just not fair. You are in charge of your attention. Remember, where your attention goes, your energy will flow. Just because there are things in the world that are happening that are out of our control does not mean that we are powerless. And how do we gain back our power? Through our attention, through our minds, through our thoughts. This is not the time to be defined by external forces, by forces that are trying to convince you that you have no power over yourself, over the outcome of your life. Believe me, the universe will arrange itself. It's a lot smarter than anyone in the world. It will be fine. You have so much power with what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, what you're giving your time, energy, and attention to. This doesn't mean that you're just ignoring life and the world. It's impossible to. It's impossible to ignore the things that are happening. But are the things that are happening worth you pushing your life aside and straining your nervous system, not focusing on the things that the universe is really giving us a great opportunity right now? I wanted to make it so clear because as time moves on, things will get weirder. And we have to decide that we are the ones in charge of what we're paying attention to. Okay. All right. Also happening on Monday, February 3rd, we have Mars in Cancer, Mars retrograde in Cancer create a square to Chiron in Aries. So this has happened before. This happened sometime in late October. And so whenever Mars and Chiron come together, there is an element of pain, right? Something hurts, something stings, things were said, things were experienced, right? And so with Mars in Cancer, we have been working through a lot of themes around family history, family ancestry, pent-up anger, resentment. What does home mean to me? Where am I going to live? Right? So the square to Chiron in Aries is the reminder of pushing through this discomfort, pushing through the discomfort. We are in Aquarius season. Aquarius is a sign both ruled by Saturn and Uranus. Both of those planets are planets that are not very much concerned with how we're feeling. And it's not that we're not allowed to feel. It's not that we're not allowed to process our feelings. It's not that we're not allowed to be human. Of course. But every energy has a gift that reminds us you still have your life and it's precious and it's important. And so this Mars retrograde in Cancer square Chiron in Aries, you might experience like, man, this is whatever I'm going through, this is really hard right now. Um, what I have been experiencing from December to now, it has made me redefine what home is for me, or what feels emotionally safe to me, who feels emotionally safe to me. Perhaps some people in our lives have disappointed us, right? And so how are you feeling about it? The square to Chiron in Aries is the reminder of how necessary it is for you to move through what you're moving through, experience it, and learn from it. Because Chiron always, always, always promises wisdom on the other side of whatever it is that you're experiencing. So, like I said, this happened already once at the end of October, and we're experiencing it again because Mars is retrograde, right? And we'll experience it again when Mars is direct. Um, and it's just a reminder of keep going, keep pushing, right? Pushing through our own insecurities and our own discomfort. That's okay. It's okay. Tuesday, February 4th, Venus enters the sign of Aries and remains there till June 6th. This is a long trajectory of Venus being in a sign because it's going to retrograde back into Pisces. Okay, so the first thing we need to take into consideration is that when Venus moves into Aries, it's going to activate the Aries point of the zodiac. The Aries point of the zodiac, we have four different ones of them. It's the 0 degrees of the cardinal signs of the zodiac, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn. But the fact that we are activating the Aries point of the very beginning of the zodiac is really important. And this is going to happen twice more. So Venus is going to be at 0 degrees Aries, February 4th, March 27th, April 29th. The nodes, the North Node in Aries was at 0 degrees Aries between December 31st, 2024 and January 10th, 2025. Now Venus is activating that point. Guys, whenever the planets, the luminaries points are activated, especially a point like an Aries point, which is the very beginning of the zodiac, the very beginning of a new chapter, the very beginning of something significant in our lives, we need to pay attention to it. Venus in Aries is saying there's a new beginning in relationships. There is a new beginning in relationship to self, relationship to others, relationship to money, relationship to my courage, relationship to my sense of self and my sense of autonomy. Um, this is about embracing my authenticity and not pretending to be something I'm not just so that I won't upset others. Venus in Aries is not very concerned with being like the bad guy of the story because it is not a codependent energy. It is almost the opposite of that. Now, of course, with that energy, we want to be mindful, right? This isn't about going around hurting people's feelings, not minding how our actions and our words affect others. But it is this energy that's going to call you to ask yourself, what do you really want to experience? And what do you need to do in your life? What needs to be rearranged? How do you need to rethink certain relationships with certain part of your life in order for that new beginning to take place, right? So you'll notice that I'm giving you dates over the next couple of weeks because you want to jot those dates down because this story is just beginning and it's going to unfold. And these are the themes that you'll notice are unfolding for you or that you're being invited to look at. Right? Venus in Aries is going to represent giving yourself the permission to do things in your own way, right? Being creative in your own way, doing your life in your own way, raising your children in your own way, living life a certain way. It really is about getting comfortable and okay with that, but understanding that you're the only one who can give yourself the permission to do that. Also taking place on Tuesday, February 4th, is Jupiter goes direct at 11 degrees Gemini. Jupiter has been retrograde in Gemini since October 9th. Okay, so Jupiter in Gemini is this invitation to expand the way that you look at life, the way that you look at the world, by giving yourself the opportunity to look at different options, to consider different things, to consider a different approach, to consider a different point of view. So I really invite you to think about how between October and now, your perception of life, of relationships, of a lot of fundamental things in your life has shifted. How the way you used to think back in October is probably not the way you are thinking now. That is significant because it's not a very long period of time. And so Jupiter direct in Gemini is an abundance of options, an abundance that comes with a different point of view, especially if certain things have felt stuck for you since October, right? So again, this week, great for launches, for announcements, for important conversations, but more importantly, to give yourself the permission to think in the way you're thinking about your future, about your growth, about your prosperity, about opportunity. Okay. This is really lovely. Now, I want to go back just a little bit because this is a theme that's going to play out all week. the weekend of February 1st and 2nd. What is it showing you about who can grow with you or not? Who can come with you or not? Or the flip side, who are the people that you're meeting that are really reflecting back to you the possibility, the excitement, and the potential of that expansive future? Okay. Wednesday, February 5th, we don't have much going on, but the moon is transiting the sign of Taurus, and therefore it will create a conjunction to Uranus and Taurus. When the moon and Uranus come together, it's an invitation to remain flexible because plans might change, right, at the last minute. On the other hand, this lends itself for, surprising news, pleasantly surprising news, aha moments, breakthroughs, especially emotional breakthroughs in anything that you may be processing. So, at a collective level, be mindful of where your attention is, right? Because with that activation of Uranus, with the activation of Mercury in Aquarius, that Uranian energy, I think all week will lend itself for more stories, more things happening around the world. Come back to self, right? The, um, the connection between Uranus and the moon can have our nervous systems feel a little shaky. So, whatever it is that you need to do to ground, to remain present, that's something that you'll want to prioritize. I think most of the week, but especially that Wednesday, Thursday. Thursday, February 6th, not much is going on, which takes us into the weekend of February 7th through the 9th. Okay, a few things happening. The first one being Venus in Aries is going to create the first of three sextiles to Pluto in Aquarius. Why? Because Venus is going to retrograde. So the dates that you want to keep in mind are the weekend of February 7th through the 9th, then March 21st and May 6th. Venus will sextile Pluto in Aquarius again. So, on the one hand, at an individual level, this is great empowerment for believing in yourself, for having the courage to move in the direction of your dreams, to start something new, having much more confidence in yourself, just as a person and who you are in the world, and feeling good with that and feeling proud of that, right? And saying, no, this is who I am now, and this is who I choose to be. Now, on the flip side, a Venus connection to Pluto can manifest itself in intense attraction to another person, right? Okay, so here we have the beginning of a week with a lot of potential. Now, whether that potential is founded on something grounded, that's where you're going to have to monitor yourself. Because with as many activations of Pisces energy and Neptune and the North Node, and then this Venus Pluto sextile, it's like meeting someone, love at first sight. That's it, you're the one. And then over the next couple of weeks, again, potentially being disappointed. Does it mean that it's going to lead to disappointment? Not necessarily. But if you are beginning to see someone or you meet someone, what is the hurry? If it's meant to be, it simply will be. Why rush anything, right? Now, I think that when this comes to ourselves and our creativity, oh, this is such great energy for creativity. This is such great energy for if you want to make money through creative endeavors. If you don't want to make money through creative endeavors, this is just great energy to see where your money is. This is great energy for allocating your money so that it grows in the future, right? I'm not giving you any financial advice here, nor am I telling you that to go out and gamble and, pretend that you can double or triple your money. Not at all. What I'm saying is here, there's supportive energy for something to begin, but you want to do it from a grounded place. You want to be educated, and you do not want to be impulsive with this energy. Okay? It's it's very supportive, it's very empowering, but you have to know who you are. You have to know where to stand. When it comes to relationships, this can give some energy of possibility to move forward in a different way, but everyone involved has to be on the same page. This can only work if everyone involved is on the same page, is sure of themselves, is secure of themselves, is doing their own work. They feel very grounded in their own life as individuals. If you are in relationships, personal or professional, where you're coming together with other people like this, oh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful because then that means that the next 6 to 8 weeks are about planning for really exciting things in the future. Another Another thing happening this weekend that I really love because it has the potential to bring a lot of clarity, um, illuminating things, really cutting out the BS in any situation, is the fact that the sun and Mercury in Aquarius are coming together. Sun and Mercury are coming together in the sign of Aquarius. This is a superior conjunction. Because the last time that the Sun and Mercury met in an inferior conjunction, when Mercury was retrograde in Sagittarius, was on December 5th. Again, I invite you to think about how much the way that you think, the way that you perhaps you thought life was going to unfold, the way you thought your plans were going to unfold, has vastly changed from December 5th to uh, the weekend of February 7th through the 9th. And so at the time when Mercury was retrograde in Sagittarius in December, that was the invitation to get very real, very honest about where we were at the time and to really ask ourselves, is the situation that I'm in right now really supportive of the future that I would like to have? Now, with the superior conjunction, Mercury in Aquarius, I'm thinking about the future. I'm talking about the future. I'm planning for the future. I'm imagining for the future. I'm having conversations around the future. And the sun, which brings a light to all of that, is saying, okay, how serious are you about it? Because remember, Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn and Uranus, and wherever Saturn is involved, it's this understanding that you have a great deal of responsibility in how something unfolds. And with responsibility comes intentional action. And so this weekend, you have Venus in Aries sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Who's going to grow with me and who's not? Who's supportive of my vision and who's not? Who's taking up more of my time, energy, and effort than I would really like for them to take, right? You begin to think of that. Then the sun and Mercury come together in Aquarius. I'm excited about the future. I'm excited about planning it with someone who wants to plan it with me. I'm excited about planning it with someone who is really growing, really working on themselves, really excited. The more we move into 2025, the more we will be called to be sovereign beings. And what does that mean? That you are a self-possessed person, that you are an independent person with your own dreams, with your own visions, with your own sense of self, with your own sense of self-worth. Guys, when Neptune moves into Aries, which is not very long from now, Neptune in Aries is this energy of, I don't want to wait for anyone. I don't want to not act anymore. No action is no longer an option. There is Our souls are so ready to express themselves so genuinely, so authentically. And guys, anything and anyone who gets in the way of that, very naturally, our bodies will reject it. Because with everything that's going on in the world, our souls deep down understand this is my time. This is my time. It's now or never. And that sense of urgency is really beautiful because we get to see what we get to create. But anything and anyone that feels like a drag, like excuses, like they're just stressing you out. There's no room for that. Again, pay attention to some of these themes, how they unfold over the week. What are you excited about? Who's a wet blanket in your life, right? The Venus retrograde cycle will take care of that because as much as the world around us may feel like it's falling apart, and that's just part of the entire trajectory of what we need to experience, we have an opportunity to recreate ourselves, to rebuild our lives, but we really have to take ownership of who we are and who we came here to be. There is no more playing around. There is no more ignoring the light that we came here to shine in our own way, right? In our very own way. And really, at the end of the day, it's just about choosing how we want to live our lives. Okay? I'm going to stop here. My voice is going. As always, may this be of service. Thank you for your patience. My hope is that my voice gets better as the week goes on. It has been such a pleasure to meet some of you from the YouTube community and the year ahead readings. Yeah, I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.